Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to a new cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I'm Wiyag Mofwebe. The federal government has launched a new initiative to establish an operating model and framework for economic and financial inclusion, aiming to transform Nigeria into a $1 trillion economy by 2030. The project is designed to combat poverty and catalyze sustainable economic growth from the ground up. Vice President Kashim Shettima said the initiative symbolizes the commitment of President Bola Tinubu's administration to enhance financial and economic inclusion across the country. The presidency has stated that 24 million Nigerians are set to benefit from the federal government's Human Capital Development Initiative, which aims to improve education, healthcare, and skills training across the nation. Recall that in 2018, the National Economic Council had launched the National Human Capital Development Program to tackle poverty and promote sustainable economic growth, with emphasis on the importance of human capital development. The initiative focuses on expediting targeted investments in people, fostering equitable economic growth across Nigeria. The federal government has distributed 33,576 bags of assorted food items to residents of the Federal Capital Territory as palliatives to cushion the effect of their economic hardship arising from food shortages, which is biting hard on Nigerians. Minister of State Dr. Maria Mahmood, during the official flag-off ceremony of the distribution of food items, said the FCT administration has taken delivery of 23,996 bags of 25 kg rice from the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, in line with the renewed hope agenda of the present administration. The Governor of Niger State, Umaru Bago, has delivered 600 bags of rice and 20 cows to National Youth Service Corps members posted to the state. The move was in fulfillment of the pledges he made to them at the swearing-in of the 2024 Batch B Stream 1 orientation course. Coordinator of the NYSC in Niger, Olayinka Abdulwahab, said the items were delivered. The governor has also promised 200,000 naira to each of the 1,600 corps members under the batch, amounting to 320 million naira. The federal government has begun the reconstruction and expansion of the Sango-Ota Idiroko Expressway. Several buildings marked for demolition are currently being pulled down to pave the way for the expansion of the deplorable 64-kilometer Ota Idiroko Road. Reports say that landlords and tenants whose buildings were marked for demolition were helpless when the demolition started. Away from Nigeria's southwest now, Kano State government has ordered the immediate release of funds to contractors for the completion of the abandoned 5-kilometer road projects across the 44 local government areas in the state. Governor Abba Yusuf made the disclosure shortly after a meeting with contractors handling the projects at the government house. He ordered the resolution of pending compensation issues and that the contractors go back to the sites within 1 week. The Court of Appeal, Abuja, Let's turn to other stories now. The Court of Appeal in Abuja has dismissed the ex parte order issued May 10, 2024 by the Rivers State High Court in Port Harcourt, which barred Martin Amayewule from parading himself as the Speaker of the State House of Assembly. The appeal court also dismissed the decision of the State High Court, which stopped 24 other members of the Assembly from accessing the complex or carrying out any such legislative assignments in the name of Rivers State House of Assembly. A federal high court in Abuja has invalidated the People's Democratic Party primary election that produced Aswe Ighodalo as the party's candidate in the forthcoming governorship election in Edo. Justice Iyang Eko, in a judgment, held that the PDP's primary held on February 22nd failed to comply with the provisions of the Electoral Act 2022, the guidelines for the conduct of the poll, and the party's constitution. Justice Eko, who said that the exhibits PDP one tendered by the party was bereft of evidence, held that the plaintiffs, through the exhibits tendered, were able to establish their case against the defendants. Meanwhile, Edo State chapter of the People's Democratic Party has urged party faithful to remain calm despite an Abuja High Court judgment nullifying the party's primary election held in Benin on February 22nd. A statement by the state's chairman of the party, Anthony Azigbemi, insisted that Asue Ighodalo remains its candidate ahead of the September 21 governorship in the state. Justice Inyang Eko of the Federal High Court in Abuja had voided the February 24 election that produced Asue Ighodalo. Some aggrieved youths in Benue State have burnt down the office of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) in Sankara, headquarters of Ukum local government area. The National Commissioner and Chairman of the Information and Voter Education Committee, Sam Olumekun, who confirmed this in a statement, quoted Professor Sam Egu, resident electoral commissioner for Benue, as saying the youths invaded the facility around 2 p.m. The Senate has scored the executive low in the implementation of the capital components of the 2024 budget, saying there is a need for the government to get ministries, departments, and agencies of the federal government to implement the budget. The Senate also urged the federal government to intensify efforts in funding the capital components of the 3 national budgets, which are running concurrently in the country. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Appropriation, Senator Solomon Adiola, gave the task when the Minister of Finance, Wale Edu, and Accountant General of the Federation, Oluwatoyin Maiden, appeared before the panel over the budget performances. Meanwhile, the Senate has passed for third reading the bill seeking the establishment of the North Central Development Commission. The bill was sponsored by the senator representing Benue South Senatorial District and Senate Minority Leader Abba Moro and other senators from the North Central region. The bill, which passed first and second reading on October 5, 2023 and February 21, 2024 respectively, was first sponsored in the 9th Senate by Moro, where it passed first and second readings but could not get presidential assent before the expansion and expiration of the 9th Senate. The passage of the bill followed the adoption of the report of the Senate Committee on Special Duties submitted during plenary. The World Health Organization has donated some infection and prevention and control materials to Ondo State Ministry of Health as part of efforts to help prevent cholera outbreaks. This was contained in a statement issued by the press officer of the ministry, Bisi Lawane, in Akure, the state capital. The coordinator of World Health Organization, Dr. Dele David, noted that the organization had always been at the forefront of preventing outbreaks and death in communities and among healthcare workers, which necessitated the donation of infection and prevention and control materials to the state to keep the healthcare workers and the communities safe. Business and commercial activities were grounded following a 10-hour downpour in many parts of Lagos and Ogun states. The resulting flooding brought down a 2-story building in the Mushin area of Lagos, grounded vehicular movements on the roads and overwhelmed thousands of residents, while pupils could not attend schools in parts of both states. Though Lagos state government said the rain lasted for 9 hours, in some parts of the state it started at midnight and did not subside until noon, making it 12 hours. And now to some security matters. The Nigerian Air Force says its air component of Operation Hardin K has eliminated several terrorists in an aerial bombardment in their hideouts in Borno. This is contained in a statement by the Director of the Nigerian Air Force Public Relations and Information, Air Vice Marshal Edward Gaboit in Abuja. Gaboit said that the hideouts located near Degbewa and Chinene in Mandara Mountains in the state were non-terrorist hideouts. He said the airstrikes became expedient after several days of aerial surveillance, which revealed a consistent gathering of large number of terrorists in the area. You're watching News Cycle, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using our Global TV NG and other handles as you now see on your screen. When the news returns, federal government raises mining rates by 50%. We will tell you more about that and a lot extra after this short break. We encourage you to stay with us.
busy road, the increasing challenge of keeping track of health matters can be extremely demanding. Follow the latest health tips and trends on Health Guide on Global Television on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Health Guide on Global Television. Put your health first. Get ready for it. Inside Today brings you issues relating to family, peer pressure, drugs, substance abuse, societal and topical issues making rounds. Join Jumaine Manson on Global Television Monday to Thursday and a repeat every Friday. Time 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Don't miss out.
Are you
Thank you everyone for staying with us here on News Cycle on Global Television with Thuyi Agmofwebe. Now time to take you to the foreign scene, where China has confirmed that an armed attack in the Democratic Republic of Congo has left several of its citizens dead or missing. Reports say that a militia attack on a mining site in Gold-rich Ituri province killed at least 4 Chinese nationals. Beijing's foreign ministry said a private Chinese company in the DRC was attacked by armed forces, resulting in the death and disappearance of several Chinese nationals without specifying the number. Hundreds of thousands of homes in Jamaica are without power after Hurricane Beryl thundered along the island's southern coast on Wednesday night. The Category 4 storm, one of the most powerful to ever hit the country, has brought more than 12 hours of heavy rain, prompting concerns about flash flooding. Israel says it is studying a response by Hamas to a Gaza ceasefire plan outlined by President Biden at the end of May. It comes after Hamas's political leadership said it had contacted mediators, Egypt and Qatar, about the ideas it has been discussing with the aim of reaching an agreement. Up to now, Hamas has demanded an end to the war and a full withdrawal of Israeli troops from Gaza. Israel says it will accept only temporary pauses in the fighting until it eliminates Hamas. Sierra Leone President Julius Maada Bio has signed into law a landmark bill criminalizing child marriage. Child marriage has been a persistent problem in the country, where nearly 1/3 of girls are married before the age of 18. The practice has been linked to a range of higher rates of maternal mortality and lack of education. The Prohibition of Child Marriage Act, which received parliamentary approval last month, imposes strict penalties, including at least 15 years or fines around $4,000 or both for those who marry girls under 18. United States President Joe Biden has worked to calm senior Democrats and staff on his campaign, as reports suggested he was weighing his future after his disastrous debate with Donald Trump last week. Biden held a closed-door lunch with Vice President Kamala Harris at the White House as speculation mounted over whether she would replace him as the party's candidate in November's election. The pair then joined a call with the broader Democratic campaign, where Biden made clear he would remain in the race and Harris reiterated her support. Senator Fatima Payman has resigned from Australia's ruling Labour Party days after voting against it to support a motion on Palestinian statehood. Labour has strict penalties for those who undermine its policy positions, and Payman was already indefinitely suspended from the party's caucus after vowing to do it again. The 29-year-old added that this is a matter that cannot be compromised and that she was deeply torn over the decision. And now time to follow the money for you on business. The Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board has stated it would not approve oil service companies with no proven capacity to execute projects. Executive Secretary of the board, Felix Ogbe, described the presidential directive on local content compliance requirements as crucial for enhanced competitiveness and mitigation of risks regarding unqualified contractors. Speaking at the Nigerian Oil and Gas Energy Conference in Abuja, Ogbe identified that the non-inclusion of intermediary entities lacking the essential capacity to perform from the Nigerian Content Plan and the approval of contractors that meets the legal definition of Nigerian companies and demonstrate capacity to execute projects within the country would be important to implementing the presidential directive. The federal government, through the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development, has raised the dues and rates paid by operators in the mining sector. Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, announced the price increase at an ongoing press conference at the ministry headquarters in Abuja. He said government increased a total of 286 rates regimes ranging from 50% to 100%, adding that compliance begins immediately. He also warned that defaulters will have their licenses revoked. The minister said the review was necessary due to the paucity of funds repatriated to the coffers of government by operators. The presidency has stated that 24 million Nigerians are set to benefit from the federal government's Human Capital Development Initiative, which aims to improve education, healthcare, and skills training across the nation. The initiative is aimed at expediting targeted investments in people, fostering equitable economic growth across Nigeria. A Deputy Chief of Staff to the President and Chairman of the Human Capital Development Core Working Group, Senator Ibrahim Adija, emphasized government's commitments and highlighted President Bola Tinubu administration's intention to address the Jagba syndrome through strategic investments in education, health, and skills development. The federal government, through the National Information Technology Development Agency, has announced plans to support Nigerian startups that are developing products or emerging technologies. The Director General of NITDA, Kashifu Inowa, who disclosed this while presenting a keynote during the opening of the Internet of Things West Africa Conference in Lagos, highlighted the transformative potential of emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and blockchain. The federal government has announced the completion of the divestment deals between Nigeria Ajib Oil Company and Ondo PLC, as well as that of Equinor and Project Ordinum, which jointly worth about $1.5 billion. It also announced that as at June 2024, the country's functional oil rigs increased to 34, adding that a total of 31 blocks were currently on offer for bidding in the 2024 licensing round through the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, an agency of the federal government. The chief executive of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, Gbenga Komolafe, who disclosed these while speaking at the Nigerian Oil and Gas Conference in Abuja, also gave updates on the $2.4 billion Shell Petroleum Development Company and Renaissance divestment deal. And sports three-time champions and five-time runners-up Nigeria's Super Eagles will know their opponents for the qualification race of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations finals when the draw is conducted in Johannesburg, South Africa this afternoon. The draw ceremony will serve the 48 countries into 12 groups of 4 teams each, with the top 2 teams in 11 of the groups qualifying directly to the finals, already scheduled for 21st December 2025 to 18th January 2026, while the 12th group, which has host nation Morocco, will see Morocco qualifying no matter the position in which they finish alongside one team. Arsenal have reportedly chosen to abandon a move for Nigerian striker Victor Osimhen, despite Napoli reducing their asking price for the 25-year-old. The Gunners had previously been linked with a big money swoop for the Nigerian international, but they have now moved into alternatives. France and Portugal renew their European Championship rivalry in a quarter-final showdown in which almost all of the focus will be on the 2 captains, Kylian Mbappe and Cristiano Ronaldo. The last 8 encounter in Hamburg brings together 2 of the most fancied nations coming into Euro 2024, but 2 teams who have not completely convinced so far in Germany. Super Falcons head coach Randy Waldrum has unveiled his final squad for the Paris 2024 Olympics Women Football Tournament in France. They named captain Rasheedat Jibade, goalkeeper Chiamaka Nandozie, defender Osinachi Ohale, forward Asisat Oshoala, and 14 others in his 18-player squad for the tournament. Also included in the list are defenders Olua Tosin, Demehi, and Michel Alozie, midfielders Deborah Abiodun, Halimatu Ayinde, Christy Uchebe, and Tony Payne, and forwards Esther Okoronkwo, Chiwendu Ihezuo, and Uchenna Kanu. Already appears exciting for the women's team, but then it's a full cycle on the news here on Global Television, and it came to you from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Remember, we're on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using at Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. At top of the hour, we will bring you a big talk, and we hope you stay with us. I'm Agumofwebe.